Hello traders, good day to you all. Today it is the uh, 30 of October 2013. My name is Tom Williams and this is a daily market analysis for the current market status. As you can see this morning we had a variety of not so important announcements. We can see that the market is basically waiting for a very important announcement that we're expecting to see later on this trading session. We've got an announcement on the dollar regarding the non-farm employment change that will be delivered in several seconds, and we'll be even have the ability to analyze that as we will receive the information. It will occur in something like 10 minutes, and I'm sure that we will see the reflection on the charts during our webinar. Again, for traders that joined the session live, you can see the reaction right now, but for traders that will see the recording, unfortunately you won't be able to use this information. You'll be able to use a long-term analysis that I will make according to the potential that I can see on the charts. Later on, we've got another announcement 15 minutes after this very important announcement regarding the core CPI, and after that at the evening we've got an announcement regarding an FOMC statement. I'm always saying that, but I will say for traders that see that for the first time, FOMC is the group that delivers the suggestions to the federal bank, whether to take the interest rate higher or lower, whether to change the policy regarding the purchase that they are forming in the United States, buying bonds, releasing funds into the market. In this case, every announcement from the FOMC is very important for the US market. We will see that on US stocks, on indices as well, and that will reflect on other markets. We will see the expression going on in the Asian market at night, and we will see the expression moving forward into the European session tomorrow. Usually, I'm advising traders not to trade when we're trading later into the US market session when the European session is over. But in this case, we do expect to see large amount of liquidity, large amount of changes occurring on the dollar itself, and that will be reflected on the charts on a variety of potential trades. Let's go to the chart and let's see what is our expectation from this announcement. Anything that I will talk about today will be according to elite wave analysis structure alone. I can only, and that's again, that's a perspective. I can only assume, according to the elite wave, that I will see a specific pattern occurring on the chart. Usually, I'm right with my assumptions. Sometimes my assumptions will not deliver the accurate structure as I'm expecting them to see. So that's why I'm saying once we've got the ability to make an assumption on the chart, that will allow us to prepare for a specific plan. If that plan will occur on the chart, then we will be able to participate in a trade. That is the strength of having the ability to analyze the market and to prepare yourself for a specific scenario that you're assuming that's going to occur. Anything can happen in the market. I'm always saying that, but our assumption is according to a structure analysis, and that's what I'm basing my analysis on. First of all, as I'm doing always, let's go and see who's stronger and who's weaker in the market today. As you can see, this scale is almost set up. Let me just change. Okay, dollar Canadian dollar 52, 52, 50, and 54 the gold. Um, let's begin with the gold, or generally let's talk about commodities. In this case, I can tell you that my assumption regarding the gold is that once the gold and the dollar will change their perspective, will change their momentum, whether the dollar will gain strength and the gold will lose strength in front of the Japanese yen or vice versa, we will have a potential trade toward the direction according to our analysis. In this case, for today specifically, I'm expecting the announcement to deliver weakness to the dollar, and I'll explain exactly according to what structure. We will go over that in a second. But again, my assumption is that we will see a bit of weakness on behalf of the dollar expressing the announcement, and then that will cause the gold to climb up, and then we will see a good structure over here. Now, looking at the gold in terms of Elliott wave, first of all, we can see that generally we're climbing up, no question about that. We're climbing up in a nice channel. We have a top over here. The market is just bouncing between the boundaries over here on a 15-minute chart. A break beyond one of the lines will indicate whether the dollar is gaining strength or losing strength instantly. Above this area, again, this is the gold in front of the Japanese yen, not the gold spot in front of the US dollar. Um, in this case, across beyond the trend line over here or below the trend line over here will indicate the strength of commodities and the gold. Below the trend line, that will indicate that the dollar is gaining strength. Above the trend line, that will indicate that the dollar is losing strength. Okay, that's a straightforward expression. And as you can see right now, we can see that the market is bouncing against the trend line. Bouncing against the trend line, trying to state whether the dollar is losing strength or gaining strength. Now, let's go back just for 1 second to the calendar. I wanted to state another issue. We will have the announcement itself regarding the non-farm employment change, but pay attention that 15 minutes after that, we're receiving an announcement regarding another issue in the United States. So, if at the moment we've received bad announcement, bad announcement for the currency. In this case, we will have to check the expression on the charts, but we've got a bad announcement on the US dollar right now. And I'm sure that even though that is a bad announcement, traders, equity traders, will wait for an additional information 15 minutes after to actually participate in the trade, because what happens, the market can just right now, just 1 second. The market can, from this announcement, for example, the gold can climb up, and then once we will receive the announcement in 15 minutes, then we will receive a good announcement, and then the gold will get weaker and weaker. Okay, so traders are waiting for the expression, and we will wait as well. Okay, so this is the strength, the current strength status. Swiss franc, euro, dollar. At the moment, the strongest currencies. The dollar is losing strength as we talk during the webinar. The weakest currencies at the moment are the Australian dollar, and the New Zealand is a bit stronger than the Australian dollar, but again expressing weakness in front of the Japanese yen. Let's talk about this structure. I've talked several times about it. I'm looking at this chart, the dollar versus Japanese yen for 1 hour. I remind you, the dollar itself is the mother of all yen's currencies chart. Okay, if the chart, the dollar versus Japanese yen, is climbing up, then we're expecting all the other charts to climb up as well, meaning expressing weakness on behalf of the Japanese yen, and vice versa. A downtrend will mean that the Japanese yen is gaining strength, and because of that, we will look for exhausted currencies to express in front of it. In this case, we can see, and I've talked about this pattern that we saw already, we can see 5 waves climbing up. That's an impulse movement of an uptrend. From this point and beyond, we saw a choppy overlapping movement dropping down, an ABC pattern. I've placed this trend line something like a week ago, and I stated that once we will cross this movement, then we will have enough liquidity to trade on the Japanese yen currencies. And indeed, at the point where we've crossed the trend line, we had an enormous amount of liquidity, and at the moment we're pausing in a choppy overlapping movement, waiting for the announcement that we will receive in 15 minutes, and waiting for the announcement that we will receive later on this session. Usually what happens with this specific scenario is that the market is retesting the line, dropping down and retesting the line before continuing higher. And this is my assumption at the moment. I'm expecting the Japanese yen currencies, I don't know if it will happen this session, the US market session, or during the Asian markets time frame, but I'm expecting the Japanese yen to gain strength a bit. I'm expecting to receive bad announcement on the indices for the economy of the Japanese yen, for the Japanese economy, and because of that, I'm a bit worried about the expression on the Japanese yen currencies. I can tell you that euro versus Japanese yen is showing a good example of a trade over here. We've got stochastic at the bottom, RSI at the top. The euro should gain strength in front of the Japanese yen, and we've got a great potential for a trade over here. A cross beyond the trend line on a 15-minute chart and a close beyond the trend line will indicate that we're approaching a potential for an uptrend, and that will be a suitable time to take the trade for a call option. Swiss franc, even stronger than the euro, another good potential for an uptrend. At the moment, is not indicating a satisfying structure. A 5-minute chart will reveal a good structure, I think. Let's see that. No, not at the moment. According to the Elliott wave analysis, we've completed the 5th wave of an uptrend over here, and there's a potential for a bit of a downtrend. So leave this chart alone for now. The euro versus Japanese yen is a better potential. Again, I'm expecting later on this session, or even during the Asian market session, to see a stronger Japanese yen in the market. That is my expectation. And again, it's a plan, and we will be able to join that movement if it will occur during the evening time or tomorrow's morning session. Let's go to the on-demand instrument and see if we've got any connection with the strength and weakness, if we will be able to deliver potential trade according to this analysis. Australian dollar and New Zealand, pay attention. We've checked them. We saw that the Australian dollar and the New Zealand are expressing approximately the same strength and weakness. You can see that it's reflected on the chart as well. A 15-minute chart just bouncing backward and forward, until one of them will change the attitude, will change the strength, whether becoming stronger or weaker. At the moment, I would definitely stay away from this chart. Both of them are expressing approximately the same strength and weakness, and because of that, they possess no potential. Any kind of potential over here will eventually get you caught in a cycle of an uptrend, downtrend, a choppy overlapping movement that won't deliver a confident trade as we want it to be. Sterling dollar, Japanese yen. Although the Australian dollar is among the weakest currencies, we can see that the Japanese yen is losing strength at the moment in the lower cycle, in a closer cycle, a 15-minute chart, and that's a good advice for a call option. Again, if you'd like to trade the Japanese yen at the moment, you won't pick the Australian dollar, although we've got a great indication over here because the euro is stronger, meaning that the euro will climb higher once the Japanese yen will lose strength in the market. Australian dollar, US dollar, a good potential was before. At the moment, we've got nothing over here. The RSI is fluctuating around the 50 level. It's not. It hasn't decided whether we'll drop down over here or climb up. At the moment, we know that the dollar is stronger according to the Japanese yen indication, but again, the announcement will change the perspective of the dollar in the market, whether turning it to strongly or to express stronger image or a weaker image, and that will be expressed in front of the Australian dollar being the weakest currency if we will see stronger dollar in the market. Euro Japanese yen, we've talked about that. Seems like it's going higher, climbing and climbing. Okay, definitely a good potential for trade. Pound versus Japanese yen. The pound, again, it's not as strong as the euro, but we still see a good potential over here for an uptrend. It's stronger than the Australian dollar. We saw that based on the strength index, so it's still a good potential, but again, the euro is a better probability in this case. Nothing over here, nothing over here. Let's proceed. Let's see what's going on with the gold. As you can see, it's spiking higher. Let's analyze the gold structure. I want you to have a potential for a longer session if you'd like to trade a longer session. Okay, yesterday I've analyzed this chart with one of our traders, and I've placed a trend line below. Sorry, that wasn't a trend line. It was this one, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Okay, it's a trend line that describes the current curve, the uptrend movement. And with her session, we've talked about the collapse that we had beyond the trend line, indicating that there's a potential for a longer term downtrend on the gold. This is another reason why I believe that the dollar should gain strength in the market today, whether from the announcement in 10 minutes from now or from the announcement of the FOMC. In this case, if we will analyze the structure, we can see an impulse movement climbing up. But from this point and beyond, we can see an A dropping down, an A, B, C climbing up. That's a corrective pattern. It should complete its structure over here. And we will expect to see a downtrend continuing lower. I will participate in a trade for a put option on the gold if we will proceed below this trend line. That will be a completion of the entire corrective cycle, and then we will be able to prepare ourselves for a potential for a downtrend. The market can bounce a bit higher, a bit lower. I'm not so worried about that. Only once the market will cross a trend line, I will participate in a trade like that. Let's look at the 15-minute chart. Okay, so again, a potential for a downtrend over here, completion of an A wave dropping down, a B wave climbing up, and a C wave is expected to drop down as well with us. I'm expecting to see this reflection organizing a downtrend, and I'll be able to participate in that movement with the confidence that I need. Australian dollar versus US dollar still bouncing backward and forward around the same level. I will wait with that one. Silver is expressing larger strength than the gold. If you'd like to take a call option and you need to choose whether to trade the gold or the silver, being knowing that both of them reflect the strength and weakness of commodities and the dollar, if you'd like to take a call option, you just look at the RSI. If the gold is 55 and the silver is 62, you know that the silver is stronger than the gold, so a better probability of an uptrend will be in front of the silver. If you're looking at the indicator of the RSI and it's indicating 55 and 61 and you're waiting for a downtrend, then the gold will be the better probability because it will give a larger movement lower once the dollar, if the dollar will gain strength in the market. That completes our session for today. We've got another dollar Japanese yen potential over here, but I would definitely not trade the dollar at the moment. The dollar is obviously under a lot of pressure, being basically changing its direction according to the announcement that we're expecting to see, and we will receive a large volatility over here, a violent movement and not so confident movement. This confident movement, it's not suitable for us, but it will be expressed in front of other currencies, and we should use this specific pattern potential. Beside that, we've got nothing at the moment in the market. The market is pretty quiet, waiting for the announcement that will be delivered later on from the FOMC. I do advise you to wait as well. Beside the trade that I've stated, if the gold will cross a trend line, then take the put option. If the euro versus Japanese yen will cross the trend line and close above it, take a call option. That's the better probability in the market at the moment, and I would advise you to react to the current market's changes. From here, from Opteck, I'd like to wish you all the best with your trade. Have a pleasant day, and bye bye.